Right, so today we are back with another gentleman who happens to be over the age of 40, who is a lumberman and has children, though, as Ian just mentioned to me before we started talking, they actually are out of the house now. They're grown, but they're not that far gone. And he's got a special treat as well, a little nugget, granddaughter. And you're married to Ian, is that correct?
I'm married, yeah.
Yeah. So, but amongst all that, Ian has found a way to, keep himself really, really fit and maintain a fitness lifestyle. So we want to just talk today about, how does he do that? Why does he do that? Because there's a lot of things we could be doing in life. You could just go home and watch TV every night. You could just spend, Netflix binge night after night after night, but he's doing something different. So Ian, can you give me a little bit of a background on what your schedule is, what you do in a normal day week?
Yeah, so I work Monday through Friday. Work from 6 a.m. is typically when I go in, and I'm off about 4 to 4:30. So, that's 10 and a half hours a day. Mainly work in the office, but do a lot of inventory management and those type of things. So I'm paid to think and not a lot of physical labor. So it's great, but at times can be stressful, and
Mhm.
so that's really what I do.
Okay. And then how do you fit? Because can you give me a little background? You've done a lot of cycling, right? Or cyclocross kind of stuff historically.
Yeah, lots of cycling. Kind of grew up cycling a lot. Probably back when I was, oh man, even before I was a teenager, I was racing bikes and doing all that. And but then, I kind of lost when I turned 16, got a driver's license. That was
Hmm.
freedom. So the bike kind of got put in the back shelf, and did a lot of other things. Rode bulls for a while, rodeoed.
Oh,
I had to stay, and I was pretty. That I was all working physical labor jobs there, so staying fit was no problem back then. Um, but yeah, and then when we moved out here, I ended up getting back into bike racing as an adult, probably about 30 years old, maybe late 20s, and raced for probably 10 years or so, pretty competitively. A lot of road bike, mountain bike,
nice.
cyclocross, all that type of thing. And then when my kids got to the age where they were starting to do their own sports, needing a lot of, well, just needing dad to be around more and me training less, I just kind of put that all on the back shelf and said, at some point, which probably is going to be this year, we'll probably really start getting back into cycling, and probably not doing it as competitively, but it is a great endurance and longevity type of sport for staying fit in old age, along with strength training and that type of thing.
Hmm. Cool. So what was from when you kind of stopped the biking as much to was there something you started doing after that biking, or did you kind of put fitness generally on the back burner for a while, or
Yeah, no, well, one of the things that I noticed as just cycling. So when I was racing, I was just training. I was probably 6 to 8 hours a week, and racing against guys that didn't have any kids. Basically, man, they could buy and do whatever they wanted, and they were probably training anywhere from 12 to 20 hours a week, some of them. Um, but I noticed I started getting some imbalances. I was really fit, but especially upper body, my muscle was starting to really go away. And also, I was super skinny, which, for bike riding is great. But I was starting to get some shoulder problems and just, one of those type of things. I'm thinking, well,
mm,
you know, late 30s now, I probably need to start putting muscle back on, and kind of, I'm never going to be a professional bike racer, and I've had plenty of crashes, plenty of things to kind of break my body down. So I thought, well, I need to start putting some muscle back on and kind of getting back in balance, and trying to, as I get older, um, make sure I'm mobile and strong. So I started going to the gym, starting lifting some weights, doing this typical gym routine Monday, maybe 5 days a week, something like that.
mhm.
Found that to be a little bit boring. Every day was every Tuesday was chest day, every Wednesday leg day, that type of thing. So, with working with, as you know, the Rick Quant and starting to be able to train with Sam, I got into CrossFit, and boy, that was a game changer and just so much fun.
Mm. So how long ago would you say you started the whole CrossFit style?
Let's see. I started that, I believe it was in 2018. I did the open after starting CrossFit for like a month. I
Mm.
signed up for the open just to, kind of get a baseline of where I would be in comparison to, other people my age. And so I remember doing that and then kind of just went from there.
Got it. So because there's definitely a lot of different, movements in CrossFit, and then
Hmm.
CrossFit style training. Were you coming in kind of just like learning all this new stuff? Was it kind of
Oh man.
daunting initially, or?
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine, which Chris Seiler. When I was at the gym, I was still going to the gym, and he says, "Here, try doing front squats." And I couldn't even. My wrists were so immobile. I thought doing a front squat was the craziest thing in the world. I could not even get my wrists hurt so bad after doing that. It was just crazy. So yeah,
Mm.
talk about a learning curve for just mobility and flexibility. And then, if you throw a 40-plus-year-old into gymnastics movements, and it's like mind blown. It's been
Mm.
a lot of fun, but a lot of learning. And, often we've said, I've even talked to Rick about this of, man, I wish I could have learned this back when I was like 16 or 18. Been,
Mm.
you watch the kids do it and they pick it up after a day.
No doubt, no doubt. So once you got that routine going, like how often would you say you would, because you're working 50-hour weeks or so, you're saying,
Mhm.
how often are you able to get in the gym or get a workout in?
Well, yeah, it ebbs and flows a little bit right now. A lot of transition in my life right now with visiting kids in college and just busy at work. We got some other things going on here at the house and with some property that we own. So it's been a little tougher. I mean, I try for, really, I'd love to get 5 days a week in, but it's been a little bit less now. But just try to stay physically active, really. I mean, if I can get a
Hmm.
workout
Hmm.
in, great. But if not, just trying to do things to stay active. Whether it's even just walking, try to get
Hmm.
some, my steps in. If I can ride my bike to work as the weather gets nicer, I'll be doing a lot more of that. Now that you can, that it's starting to get a little bit more daylight and warmer. And then, obviously trying to get in some strength training, just even if it's just body weight stuff. I mean, if it's a
Hmm.
simple, you know, air squats and push-ups, just trying to maintain some sort of activity and burning some calories.
Yeah, yeah. So would you say your fitness level right now, say compared to 10 years ago? How old are you right now, Ian?
I am 51 as of yesterday.
51. Man, nice. Happy birthday. This is great.
Yeah, thanks,
Hitting you on your
thanks.
50 day after 51. Okay. So compared to 10 years ago, do you feel like you're maintaining, you're gaining? I mean, probably cycling wise, since you're not cycling all the time, you may not be quite where you're at, but overall fitness and just vigor and vitality.
Well, yeah, I think probably cardiovascular. Probably went backwards from 10 years ago because
Hmm.
coming off of racing, back when I was racing, my resting heart rate was 35. I mean, it was super low.
Hmm.
Now it's probably low 50s. So I know cardiovascularly, I'm probably not where I was back then. Well, I can tell you
Sure.
that I wasn't. Where I am as far as musculoskeletal and mobility, probably much better than I was back then, um, compared to maybe 2 years ago, maybe a little bit less. I was putting a lot of emphasis in um, working out. 5 days a week. We'd go for probably 2 hours a day at least, maybe 3 hours a day after work.
Mhm.
But as it is right now, I've had to back off just a little bit. And like I said, just a lot of it's just for a lot of moving parts right now with kids and grandkids. And, but the nice thing about it is, I get a schedule going and I'll get back into it and really probably make a push again to get really into good shape. But, just kind of, I don't want to sacrifice family and all that stuff for,
Yeah,
sake of me just being super fit. I mean,
right.
we've all seen people that have done that, and yeah, it's a sacrifice. So,
Hmm.
but the nice thing about being where I'm at now, just even with my fitness level now, is I can get back into it. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to, it's not, I'm not starting from square one by any means.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome what you're saying there. I mean, I think a big part of it is sometimes there's either a person's got to be like, I got to be in the gym, 1 hour, 2 hours every day of the week, 6 days of the week, this kind of thing, or I'm not, it's like they're trained to be a professional athlete or something when they're a mom or a dad, or
Mm-hmm.
they have all these other responsibilities, and you kind of lose what is, I would say, is actually most valuable. But
Mm-hmm.
amongst that, it's like if you do things like, okay, let me make sure I'm getting, I'm not gonna be able to get to the gym today, make sure I'm getting my steps in, or make sure I'm, yeah, I mean, we can all do some squats and push-ups, anywhere, or jumping jacks. There's always these opportunities. And so keeping ourselves in that mindset of like, okay, where's the opportunity at? As opposed to, man, things are really busy right now. I guess I just won't do anything at all, until things aren't as busy. And whereas there's always things we can do to move our bodies. And I think it's cool, especially for somebody like you that has a huge, foundation of fitness. It is crazy how much, sure, you're not at the height of your fitness right now, but how much you can maintain. It's like how much more margin you have for not doing all this craziness
Yeah.
to maintain a really, really high level, and be able to jump right back in it, when the time and everything's available to you. Because I think that's
Yeah.
huge. Because what would you say? What is the underlying cog, or what would be the reason, unless it's just pure euphoria or enjoyment, for you, maintain a fit self, or taking time to even think about doing, like, I'm going to pump out some push-ups and air squats, instead of just sitting down, or flipping the channel surfer, that kind
Hmm.
of thing.
Well, the funny thing is, even when we do sit down and watch TV, or we don't even have regular TV, we have Netflix and those type of things, so we can choose what we want, watch, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. But even when I do, most of the time I'm sitting on the floor, just because, one thing kind of back up, answer your question in a long way is, I want to grow old and be mobile, and I want to try to
Mm-hmm.
grow old as long as I can. Have often said, you see people all the time, especially young people. Oh man, when I get old, I don't want to, you know, I don't even want to be around. I want to be around till I'm 105. I mean, obviously your body's going to break down and you're not going to be where you
Mm-hmm.
were, but to see your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to live and just see your legacy. I mean, obviously you have a lot of kids, and to be able to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of their lives and to be active in their lives,
Yeah.
that's really what it's all about for me. If I get to compete a little bit, I've have a dream, and like I said, I'm 51, and as well as I do with CrossFit with the age groups. Well, the next bracket for me is going to be 55. And at 55, things change, the weights go down. So I've often thought, well, maybe 55, I'll make a run for the games. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it gives me something to shoot for and dream about,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe I get there, maybe I don't. But, for me, more importantly, it's just to be able to, when I'm 70, when I'm 80, to be able to get up off the floor, to be able
Mm-hmm.
to maintain a lifestyle that's going to be, you know, somewhat healthy and vigorous. My dad died from cancer when he was young. My grandpa died, oh man, I think he's probably in his 60s from Lou Gehrig's disease. So, what my family history is and how long I've got, I don't know, but I want to make sure it's the best that I can, make sure I'm the best that I can be. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that the independence is huge. Only way we gain independence, personal independence later on in life, is by doing stuff right now. That's
yeah,
that's definitely high value. I mean,
yeah.
you can pick wherever you're at. If you're 95 years old and listening to this right now, yeah, man, just start. You can gain fitness at 95. But if you're 45, 55, 65, man, whatever you do right now is just gonna be create multiplied opportunities for you with each passing year and decade going forward here.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And,
So,
again, a lot of it has to do with lifestyle of what you eat and, that type of
mm,
thing too. I tend to, as I've gotten older, I eat a lot cleaner than I did when you're a kid. You get away with a lot of stuff. And back when I was a kid, probably the ingredients and all that stuff wasn't as bad as they are now. But,
mm,
the dyes and oh, it's just so crazy. So, even then, I'm kind of
100%.
a weirdo as far as just trying to eat good. Do I enjoy cookies and things like that? Of course I
Sure.
do, because
Hmm.
I am 51. you know, Somebody brings in homemade snacks, I'm eating a homemade snack because they took the time to cook it. But do I binge on those type of things? No. And
Mm,
do I take a lot of supplements to try to stay healthy? I do a lot of health. I take a lot
mm.
of your guys' stuff and just try to with that and exercise and all that, try to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So, I don't know how long I've got, but I want it to be the best quality of what it is.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So what is there anything you would say like is on a weekly basis, daily basis is a challenge? I mean, do you feel like as far as getting there, going, I mean, do you feel like, man, I just don't even feel like doing some air squats or push-ups right now, but if, I'm just gonna do it
Yeah.
anyway, or
Well,
you
yeah,
feel like,
you know this, and I think a lot of your masters athletes, the people that you've interviewed already, your dad would probably say this, that wow, I don't have the energy that I did when I was 30.
mm,
After working even a full day in the office, there's days I get home and I'm spent.
mm,
And whether, and the other thing too, which is kind of interesting, and as you get older, some people suffer from this when they're younger, but you have good nights of sleep and bad nights of sleep, and some of it's, I think some of it just has to do with age.
mm,
There's nights I sleep great. There's other nights that I'm awake a couple times at night for whatever reason, and so that all plays a part into it. Or you work out real heavy and you've got you're just spent. You can't. I can't do it over and over again. Back when I was even bike racing, back in my 30s, you had these 18-year-old kids, and they'd keep up with you, and you could keep up with them. But the next day, they could go do it again, and I needed 4 days of recovery.
mm.
And I find that to be more and more as a masters athlete, especially, is you just need to recover well, and you can't just do everything that you did. You can, but you pay for it. Eventually,
Mm.
it all comes crashing down, and you got, okay, I'm taking a week. I can't do anything anymore. I'm just spent.
Sure.
But
So what
yeah,
would you say is as far as being fit, staying fit, like what is that? Is there, do you feel like that offers you something right now? You notice benefits right now, or you feel like no, it's just all down the road? Is there anything you notice currently that
definitely now. Just wow. I don't. It's hard. I can't imagine being out of shape. I've got friends that are really heavy set. I've
mm,
got friends that are, in pretty good shape, and I've got friends that aren't. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be out of shape. I mean, like I said, I'm not in great shape right now. I'm not in, like, let's say, racing form or competition form. But if I had to run a mile, I could run a mile no problem. Would it be the
mhm.
fastest mile I've ever ran? No, but it wouldn't be one where about half mile in I could stop. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine that or answer that question because I don't know that I've ever been truly out of shape to to
Yeah. So
yeah.
how do you encourage, is there any way you found that's worked encouraging your friends or family members or those around you at all to, start on a kind of, adding fitness into their lifestyle or, activity
Yeah,
routine and
I,
lifestyle?
yeah, I mean, I think the way you can do that is to show them the benefits of it. And it's a one step at a time thing. You can't take somebody who weighs 240 and say, hey, I mean, if you were 195, but you could say, hey, if you just go walk for an hour, or it maybe make I'm pretty nutrition conscious. I often thought, I
Mm,
could actually be a nutritionist pretty easy, but without the qualifications and certifications, you can't
mm,
legally do it. But I do help with people a lot of times of, hey, have you looked at the ingredients? Do you know what's in there? Have
Mm.
you, you just, avoiding sugars, those type of things. If you start to just educate people, I think a lot of people just aren't really educated on stuff like that. Again, like I said, taking supplements, taking echinacea and NAC and those type of supplements just to keep your immune system up and your body healthy and those type of things. You know, a lot of people just, I don't think are aware of those things. And, as well as I do, the FDA and all those, they don't really educate you on the sense of how you really should stay healthy. I mean, they tell you to avoid salt and eggs. I mean, and we know that you shouldn't avoid salt and eggs. Your body needs salt. It's an electrolyte, and obviously if you're eating salty food, processed food, that's not good for you. But if you're adding salt to your food, well, you need that stuff. And so I think by educating people and just kind of having them understand the benefits of, walking or, jogging a little bit or just actually good posture. There's one person that I work with that kind of slumps over like this all the time. And I'm like, well, you should be, and that's where a standing desk really helps. I know this, Matt, that if you're sitting at a computer all day, you're kind of doing this. But even if you're standing at a computer, you tend to roll your shoulders back and it just makes your posture better. And it's simple things like that over time, the benefits are incredible.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I like it. Part of maintaining fitness, getting fit, is literally what you put in your mouth. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's all part of maintaining fitness. And it's not even just, your physique, which sure can be helped that way, but it is literally your heart rate, your breathing rate, all of that is being affected by the
Mm-hmm.
food you're putting in your mouth. Your whole inflammatory response, and even maybe your desire to go do the exercise after a long day. If you've been fueling yourself with ideal nutrition or
Mm-hmm.
anywhere close to good nutrition, then your body as a whole. I tell often the story of when I was playing basketball in high school. It's like the last kid always to finish everything. And
Mm-hmm.
then I read a book, stopped drinking Mountain Dew and all this, garbage that I was consuming at age 16. And now I'm the one that finishing, I'm finishing everybody. I'm like, geez, I'm dropping a mile time by a minute and a half. And all it was, my food changes. I wasn't doing any kind of particular exercise program or anything. I was just playing basketball. So yeah, I think that's huge what you're saying right there is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mastering your nutrition.
Well,
It's
and
so
like I said,
vital.
when you're a child or when you're a young adult or even if you're in your 20s, you can get away with a lot of that stuff. But it doesn't take very long. When I was probably in my 20s, my metabolism was so high. I could eat whatever I wanted. I could eat huge portions. And a lot of people are that way. But when you
Mhm.
it's probably about 30, 32, it just started to slow down in the sense of now you got to really kind of start watching what you eat. Your appetite's still big, but then you notice, oh man, okay, I'm not burning everything that I should be burning. But then also you start thinking, oh, I need to start watching what I'm eating versus just shoving whatever comes around in my mouth. Because again, as an athlete, as a person that's just trying to live a lifestyle, you don't really think much about that. But as an athlete, when you're starting to gain that extra 2% or 5%, like you were saying, you're playing basketball, but everybody around you is good. But to try to gain that advantage of just that extra little bit, a lot of that just comes down to your diet and how you're fueling your body during workouts. Are you consuming enough carbs? Are you consuming enough protein afterwards? All those type of things. I really learned that when I was racing bikes because I ended up having some even some dietary issues because losing weight as much as I wanted to lose weight to be fast, I gave up some things that, especially like meat and things like that. Not really meat, but just kind of fatty meats and things. I got so skinny that I started having a little bit of dietary issues. And that really caused me to understand and start researching, fueling your body. And I think between you and CrossFit, watching Sam eat, just understanding all those things, I've learned a lot of what kind of what you put in your body really matters. And it matters not, it might matter for today, but again, like you said, if you're doing an endurance sport, you're fueling for tomorrow, right? If you're racing, you're racing. And so what you're eating is, and then what you're doing to recover to race the next day. When I was cycling, I would be doing someday 2 and 3 day races. Well, you can pretty well get away with whatever you want on day one, but if you're not fueling correct on day 2 and day 3, you're just, it's downhill bad. So
Yeah, that sounds miserable going into day 2 and day 3, knowing you didn't quite hit your spots there, and you still
yeah,
gotta go for it.
yeah. Well, you think about it, I didn't do like the races. Like you watch the guys in the Tour de France and things, they eat 6,000 calories a day. I mean, 6,000 calories, and they're on the bike 6 hours a day. They're eating constantly. Yeah,
Wow.
it's amazing. Yeah, and yeah, even the CrossFit. I've been to the CrossFit Games probably, well, 3 times now, and watching those guys eat. I mean, obviously they have to eat a lot of food. And
Hmm.
as you're competing, this, as you're competing, some things your body's, your stomach or whatever doesn't agree with. So it's a challenge, but um, I think the cleaner you eat and the simpler you eat, especially when it comes down to those things, you can get around a lot of that stuff.
So do you, within your just normal lifestyle currently, do you prepare your meals ahead of time at all, or do you have a plan for meals? Do you keep kind of just eat the same thing over and over again? Anything?
Well, no, I mean, I like variety. We get some meal packages delivered to our house that are whole food, grass fed beef with some veggies and some seasonings and things like that. We've got a couple of different meal packages that my wife has ordered that because she doesn't work full time, but she does work, and so
Okay.
there's times that she's getting home 6:30 or whatever, and I'm
Mhm.
home, between 5 and 5:30, and I'm working out or doing whatever, working around the property. So we have some meals that are, again, that we have to cook. They're not already
Yeah.
pre-cooked or anything like that that we um, can do. So I like variety, but we stick a
Mhm.
lot to. I mean, we like a lot of chicken type meals and fish and grass-fed beef type of meals. So, um, you know, I,
Nice.
yeah, I do like variety, but I do try to. Well, and then again for lunches, so we don't prepare a lot, but I try to. We try to make it to where at least I've got leftovers. So I never. I mean, I shouldn't say I never. I rarely eat out when it comes to lunches. I either take most of the time I'm taking leftovers of some sort, or I mean, I've gotten to where even if there's nothing to eat, like we have no prepared meals, I'll take some of that organic turkey breast you buy from Costco, and I'll grab some lettuce and I'll make a lettuce wrap. I mean, it's that
Hmm.
type of thing. I kind of like that. I don't like if we do go out and eat, and I do like cheeseburgers or hamburgers, I don't even really do cheese much. I try to avoid dairy just because as I get older, it seems like the more dairy I eat, the worse I don't do very good. So, but I do like lettuce wrap burgers, those type of things. Cause I find that I really don't like the bun that much. It's just a lot of filling where I've always been more kind of drawn towards meat. You know how there's different people some
Sure.
people are more drawn towards carbs and breads and things like that. And other people, I'm kind of more drawn towards meat, and it makes me feel more satiated. It makes me, I don't know. My body needs it. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, I always tell my wife, she's like, "What do you want for dinner?" I said, "I don't care as long as it's got protein in it. That's all I need, you know." So,
So Ian, what would you say is in kind of closing here, what would you say is something that if a person, they don't have any kind of real active lifestyle, they don't really have any fitness routine, what would be your and they just kind of, meandered in your house for dinner, came over, what would you how would you encourage them? What would you want to like leave them with
Oh man.
to inspire
Well,
them?
yeah, one is, again, I think it's, if you could, well, let me back up. If somebody came over to my house who wasn't really living that lifestyle, and they said they had an interest in it, if they don't have an interest in it, it's hard to do anything like that.
Mhm.
But if they had an interest in it, I say, well, let's go for a bike ride, or let's do something together. Because I think, as you know as well as I do, I think doing things on your own, there's several athletes that you and I know that can work out by themselves every day of the week. They're
Mhm.
self-motivated. They're, once they get started, man, it is, and they almost prefer it. Most people, I think, just need somebody to go with them, and somebody to
Mhm.
kind of, hey, are we going to go to the gym? Or kind of an accountability partner, so to speak. And I think a lot of people also, if somebody was coming in and they want an interest in it, having them start off slow. It's, we tend to, and maybe this is a male thing, I don't know. I can't speak for females, but when we're usually all in and we want to go 110%. Well, as well as I do, if you go to the gym and you haven't lifted in, a year, or if you've never lifted and you go and just crush yourself, well, the next day, next 2 days, you're so sore. Next week, you're so sore you can't even get back into the gym, and so the next time around it's just that much harder. So two things is, one, start off slow. Find an accountability partner or a friend that can encourage you. I find it harder now to get on the bike for me, because I don't have really many guys that are around me that bike. I mean, I do love getting on the bike, but when I had, well, and then I guess the other thing I'd tell them, if you have a goal in mind,
Mhm.
if I have a goal in mind, like I have a race coming up in May that I need to train for, or if I wanted to start, telling them if I want to start racing, or if I want to do a long distance bike ride, set a goal for yourself, and that helps you to try to, it motivates you to, okay, man, I need to go and either work out today, or I need to go learn this movement, or I need to go even just stretch and be more mobile, those type of things to achieve that goal. So what I would give them advice for, if they were coming over, is, start off slow, set yourself a goal, and have try to find somebody that is willing to go with you, and be a part of it, because it's always great to celebrate with somebody when you accomplish something, and it's great to be with people. And again, exercise and all that stuff can be a social event. It's, you I think we think that, it's all about competition, and it's fun occasionally to crush your gym partner, but more than anything, it's just the talking and the relating and having the common goals, and those type of things. I think and that's what really keeps people coming back. You hear it all the time. And again, CrossFit, I mean, other places the same, but at CrossFit, it's almost like a community. Everybody's cheering everybody on. You got the guy who's the games athlete who's cheering on the guy who's the first timer. I mean, that's pretty unheard of in a lot of sports. And I think that's another thing that's just kind of cool, is when you get into a community of people that are they've all been at one place at one time. Some people have progressed rapidly. Other people are still in process, but they're all cheering for you. And I think that's fantastic.
It's good stuff right there. So Ian says, set a goal and find somebody to that's going to celebrate with you, basically. That you're gonna both gain fitness together and can celebrate each other's
Yeah.
gains.
Like-minded. Yeah. Like-minded. Yeah.
Hmm. It's huge, man. Ian, thank you so much for coming on, for giving us some of your time, and man, we appreciate it.
Well,
Keep the fitness coming.
I appreciate what you do too. I know sometimes, there's a lot of people selling a lot of products out there that, man, I just don't, you just kind of wonder. So I appreciate what you do.
Mhm.
I guess a shameless plug for you and your products. I just love that you really care about what is, you don't want to be the biggest. you don't want to, you know, mass produce stuff, but you really do care what you are producing. So guys
Mm.
like me don't have to worry about what they're putting in their bodies, and can use it, and you know, just know that it's helping us. So I appreciate you and what you do, and your consciousness for health and all longevity and all that too.
Right on. Appreciate it, Ian.
Yeah.